Hello and happy new year. I hope your year ahead is filled with peace, abundance, and happiness. So, this year I wanted to try something a little different. Usually with human design, we can't really specify specific types, you could say. So, for instance, what I'm talking about is in astrology, we can say we're going to do year ahead for Pisces, or we're going to do year ahead for Aries, or something like that. But usually with human design, it's difficult. Last year, I did do something just for particular types. But again, we're looking at only four different types, or five if you want to separate the generator types into manifesting generators and generators, which I usually do. So this year, I'm going to talk about the 12 profiles. You can look at this as being an overview of your profile. And why I feel this is important is because as we move to 2027, the more tools we have in our tool belt to assist us in the journey, the better. By understanding your profile and how it operates and how you operate, it's just a small piece of you, but it can really help you in the world because there are energies for discovery, for being called out. There are energies for having the right people around you, being in the right projection field. They're all based on your profile. And if you understand how you operate, what you potentially need, then you are going to be more resilient, more empowered, and be able to navigate whatever changes we have going forward into 2025. Because 2025 is going to be a busy year, especially for the first half of the year. It's going to be potentially a very busy year, potentially chaotic. But within the Gate 36, which will be featured quite a bit, you can have a look at my overview for the year. But within that chaos, or that energy is really telling us what you need to learn, what experiences do you need in your life to advance you forward towards the goals that are part of your trajectory. And so feeling empowered in who you are, feeling empowered with how you operate in the world can give you that step up that can help you to move forward through 2025, and I would say 2025 and beyond. This is why I wanted to make these videos, so hopefully it can help you on your journey forward. Now, what I'm going to do is sort of look at the perspective of the line and where it is in your body graph. This is going to be where we call your personality and also your design. But for simplicity, your personality is going to be considered like your mind, what you're conscious of, what you know. A lot of people call it the conscious. And the design, this is your body and how it expresses in the world. And so we could say that your body is the manifestation of you in the world, and your personality is the mind that is sort of trying to talk to the body. And this is why we talk about authority being so important, because what it actually does for us is it gives our body the ability to make the decisions, because our bodies are manifest, just like the manifest world. And that is the theory. So all the things that I'm going to talk about, if you use your authority and whatever that is for you, then that will be helpful for you moving forward. So I will separate the profile lines, or your profile lines, into your conscious or unconscious, or your personality or your body, which is what I prefer to talk about, because I think that we call the unconscious, the body unconscious, but on the other hand, there are a lot of ways we can get in touch with that other part of us. And it takes more time and effort, and everybody's going to be different in how they discover what their body is telling them. But I think that there are so many subtle cues that we have every day that our body's telling us about certain things. It pulls us towards things. It gives us gut reactions to things that we like or we don't like. It gives us the butterflies. It can tell you when you're starting to feel like maybe you're getting a cold or something. A lot of times we ignore that. It can tell you when you're eating things that it doesn't like. And so if there's anything that we can really connect with in 2025, it is our body. And so that's why I want to use that for each of these particular profiles. So we'll go through each profile and I will talk about sort of the lines and the ways you can use your profile as a guide. But now keep in mind, we could say that there are only 12 profiles, just like there's only 12 astrology signs. So there's a lot more beneath the surface, you could say. The profile is just one part of your body graph. So there's going to be a lot more. So I could talk about a fourth line energy, and you could say, well, I don't really feel that. Well, that's potentially because maybe the fourth line is on your design side. Or potentially maybe you have a lot of third lines in your body graph other than your profile. So there's a lot of ways that it can shift up, and really discovering what your body graph says is more important than anything. But ultimately, it's just a guide to help you discover your gifts and to decide to use them or not. And that's ultimately what it's about. It's not a guide for you to live a certain way or do a certain thing or to conform to a certain way of being. That is never what we want to do. So with that said, let's get into your profile. Now we move into this 2-5 profile. Again, we're going to an energy of a call, which means that there is projection. Every second line has projection, and that's where this call comes from. And it says, okay, well, you can do this, and you're good at it, and we want you to do it for us. And a lot of times it can be easy to be used as a second line, especially when it's your personality, because again, we're trying to always listen to every call, to grab onto it, to be there because you're thinking, okay, well, this is my opportunity. Even if it doesn't feel like it's the right opportunity for you, you feel like maybe you have to try it. And if that's what you do, that's absolutely fine. You can do what feels correct for you. But again, being retrospective of what happened in the past, how did it work out for you, and how do you want to sort of, you could say, replicate it, build on that from the past. So this is where you're being projected on that you have a talent. And one more thing to think about is that second line energy is about hermiting away, or you're away from the world because you need to regenerate. You need to get your energy back. So with a second line mind or a 2-5 or 2-4 profile, what we're talking about is being away from the world and having a mental break. Now, that could be a mental break in a coffee shop. That could be a mental break amongst people because it is your mind that's getting the mental break. So if you're checked out, then you're getting a break. Alternatively, if the second line is in your design side, that is actually being away from people physically. That is a huge difference. And I'll explore more of that in the 6-2 profile. Now, the fifth line of your profile is really talking about this idea of projection and expectation. And then we're getting into a projection field. Now, projection field is literally talking about an energetic aura that you are giving off that people have expectations and say, oh, this person can do this person can do that, this person can do something else. And we're talking about right in the beginning of the fifth line, it's very common to have what we call positive projection. So in other words, people say, oh, this person can do this. Oh, they can do that, whatever. And it's usually connected to the gate that your fifth line is in, and that would be on your design, sun and earth. And what it's saying is that people have this expectation, and if you don't deliver it, then that is when you can be vilified. But if you do deliver it, then that is when you're revered. And this is where we have this perspective of the right projection field. In other words, people have expectations and you are sort of aligned with the expectations. You understand what people want and you can deliver it. And so that is why being your authentic self is the biggest key with the fifth line. So unlike a 2-4 profile where you have the fourth line that is going to be out in the world and externalizing that type of thing, the fifth line body, your fifth line body is going to be universalizing. You're going to be out in the world, but then you need to come back into your own space because you have the 2-5, you have the second line and the fifth line. You need that space to be alone and away because what happens is these projection fields, no matter if it's the right projection field or not, there's the expectation is like nonstop and it just keeps going and going and going. And the only way to get out of that expectation is to get away from it for a little while. And that's why sometimes a fifth line energy, with a fifth line energy, you might hide away because you've just gotten so depleted from being expected to do A, B, and C that you get kind of paranoid. What do these people want from me? And that's another way where you sort of want to disentangle yourself. And so a lot of times we could say the fifth line energy is about being in a space or coming in a space for a specific amount of time and then going away and having your energy to, especially with a 2-5 profile, because these are harmony, a lot of projection from your second line and also your fifth line. So you're in a tremendous amount of projection energy. which means people might have a lot of expectations about you. Again, if you're not filling those expectations, you're vilified. So in other words, getting out of the limelight or getting out of the energy of other people for a little while, taking a break. So you could say that this is like a general who's leading people when there's a time of crisis, but then when that crisis is over, you go back to your space and wait for the next time when you're called out to help the world. And it just means that sometimes you're going to be out in the world universalizing, and other times you're going to be in your own space doing your own thing, completely away from the expectations of the world around you. So going through 2025, it is about being out in the world, universalizing, doing what you need to do, but also understanding because you have the 2-5, you're going to need to get a mental checkout, a mental break. And that will help you to be able to get out in the world and universalize the things that really matter to you, to be in the projection field that is correct for you so that you know that what people expect from you is what you're ready to give them. With that said, I'm wishing you the best in 2025 and that your year will be filled with success, abundance, and good health. Until next time, take care and bye for now.